Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Trek. Huge shout out to everybody that is just tapped in, man. Hey, nothing but positive vibes being sent out. I hope you've been having a great week so far. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at a cosmic reversal that is currently taking place as I speak. Also be taking a look at a group of scientists that are very serious about living forever. Before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and run up 5,000 likes. Hit that hype button for me and subscribe if you're not a part of the I Trek fan, man, and let's go ahead and jump right into it.
We have a cosmic event taking place right now. It's called the Geomagnetic reversal. Our governments are doing everything they can to make sure that you don't know about this, but you really need to know about this. In fact, we are going to make a documentary movie on this very soon because it's so important. We're going to focus all of our attention on it and to give you all this knowledge that you really need to know. But this geomagnetic reversal is something that humankind knows nothing about except little tiny details that are picked up through geophysicists. But the human impact of what it means to us, we know nothing. How do I know that? Because the last time we've had a geomagnetic reversal was 780,000 years ago, according to science. So no living person has ever experienced this ever before. But the information is coming in from England and the United States and Russia and various places, and we're beginning to discover that the weakening of the geomagnetic field is not just a little thing. It is very important for us to understand. Right now, there are over 35 major diseases that are being caused purely by this geomagnetic field becoming so weak. And science recognizes this and knows it, though no one's telling you about this.
The world doesn't know how close we are to what?
To being able to safely reverse the age of the human.
How can you be so sure?
I'm not sure, but I'm confident that the science is solid. Right? The biology of aging is understood, I believe, in concept. My theory, called the information theory of aging, has so far been not disproven, which is important for a scientist. Look at the body like it's a computer. It's software, and we can reinstall the software. In my lab, we believe we've found the way to do that, and we see the evidence of that.
Now, I've definitely noticed a reoccurring theme amongst all the scientists that want to biohack the body. Even Elon Musk putting the chip in the brain. They're all looking at the body like a computer.
This was recorded by a YouTube channel called Voyager Overland, which has nothing to do with the paranormal. They simply record the wilderness and leave trail cameras to see what they can record. But this time they recorded something very unusual, some type of being or creature. And the most unusual thing is that it seems to be transparent, and it seems to have glowing eyes as well. It has a humanoid figure, but it looks like it's transparent. It goes through things. And the most peculiar thing is that it seems to jump from one spot to the other, like if it's traveling in time. Has anybody else seen this anywhere else? And what do you think it is? Is it a ghost? Is it an alien? It can't be a human. I doubt that it's trickery. Again, this YouTube channel has nothing to do with the paranormal, but it's something very strange. Maybe this is what people encounter when they go into the woods and never come out. And when they do come out, they have some strange stories. So let me know what you think this is. Is it something from this world or something they don't want you to know?
I think by now we all know that it has to be one of those interdimensional beings.
Quick science fact, it's estimated that 1 in 50 Americans has an undiagnosed, unruptured, potentially fatal brain aneurysm.
We're at the Grange Hall exit on 75, and this is over the sky right now. What the hell is this? They were flickering lights, and there's a bunch of people pulled over on 75. What the? They're changing colors? Yeah, but what is it?
The chance that if aliens landed on Earth, they'd be as interested in trees as they are in us. Trees are some of the oldest living things on Earth. The oldest living trees have outlived human civilizations. And have you heard of the Wood Wide Web? Underneath trees, there's a web of mycelium, which is a fungus that lets the trees talk to one another. These mycelial networks are under our feet at all times, and they can span up to 2,400 acres. What they do is they share water, sugar, and warning signals from tree to tree. So basically, literally, the trees are talking to each other. Trees are a lot cooler than a lot of us give them credit for. Most of the trees you see on a day-to-day basis are older than you. They store records of what the climate was like throughout their entire lives. They've withstood droughts, fire, mass extinction events, earthquakes, you name it. Trees can live for thousands of years. They can grow hundreds of meters tall. They're living on scales humans can't comprehend. If you think about it, an organism that can live 5,000 years has to experience time a little bit different than we do. And hey, they're nice to look at. So stay curious out there. Got rained on.
There's some crazy history that you did not learn in school. John F. Kennedy was raised so wealthy during the 1920s that he later admitted he didn't even know about the Great Depression until he read about it in books at Harvard. A cigarette lit in frustration by a Swiss physicist is what accidentally led to the invention of modern smoke detectors. One man by himself lent over $650,000 in 1975 money to fund the American Revolutionary War. He never had the money repaid, and he ended up at the end of his life penniless. Hotels in the early 1900s displayed signs all over the place that would say things like electricity is safe and not something to be afraid of. John Quincy Adams was almost assassinated when a man approached the White House with the intention of ending his life. But Adams was able to persuade this man to not end his life, gave him a job at the White House, and then kept in touch with him until this man passed away. At an inventor's lunch in October of 1912, Thomas Edison's daughter called Nikola Tesla our dear friend and the largest man I've ever seen. She mentioned that she was interested in him and his 6'2" height despite being engaged.
You're telling me that David Wilcock, a prominent UFO researcher, an author of very specific books, might I mention, and a disclosure advocate, reportedly himself yesterday, which was April 20th in Colorado, and nobody finds this to be suspicious. We're talking about not only a prolific researcher, but also a lecturer, a filmmaker, even a New York Times best-selling author. We're talking about the dude that not only claimed telepathic ET contact, but also somebody that served as the director of advanced technology. He promoted next-gen military fighters, exotic propulsion, also advanced aerospace concepts. Now, who does that sound like? Kind of sounds like Amy Eskridge, you know, the scientist who was only 34 years old, the scientist who was openly researching and trying to develop anti-gravity technology, the scientist that in 2022, might I mention, died from a self-inflicted gun you know what. Keep in mind, neither the police nor medical examiners have publicly released any details of an investigation ever taking place. Did you know that Amy Eskridge herself claimed to have co-founded the Institute of Exotic Science? Also the same woman who said this on a podcast, saying if you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you. They will burn down your house while you're sleeping in your bed, and it won't even make the news. That's why the Institute exists, she warned. However, like it says here, the Institute for Exotic Science is apparently closed since its co-founder's death, and its website is no longer accessible. We're now talking about 13 different individuals dating all the way back to 2022. This should be breaking news.
Now, what makes that clip so interesting is I have a few clips and a few videos of this guy speaking on his experiences with the extraterrestrials and things like that. So that is pretty wild.
Oh, Michael Jackson's sons, Prince and Blanket, are going viral right now after wearing these interesting armbands and has everyone thinking there's something they're not. So to the left here is Michael Jackson's oldest son, Prince, and to the right is his youngest son, BG, well, formerly known as Blanket. Now, these two are going mega viral after wearing these interesting armbands on their suit and has people thinking there's something they're not. Now, if you just put two and two together, you could probably understand what people think they mean. But before getting even into what it actually means, let's just get into the fact that Michael Jackson himself would always wear an armband on all of his suits for this accessory, and it has a deeper meaning than what people think it may mean. So really quickly here, Michael Jackson wore a signature armband often on his right arm as a symbolic humanitarian message to highlight the suffering of children worldwide due to war, poverty, and hunger. I just feel like even if you took a little bit of time just to understand the lore of Michael Jackson, you would have definitely not thought that this meant something it didn't. And just given the type of person Michael Jackson was and the characteristics that he had, I don't think his kids would be wearing these armbands for any other reason. So not only did Prince and Blanket wear these armbands to pay tribute to their dad at this Michael premiere, but it was also for a way greater message than everybody thought.
Like, you can read signs, but we never told it to read. So Yeah. We never taught it what a car was, or what a person was, or a cyclist. It learned what all those things are, what all the objects are on the road, from video, just from watching videos, just like humans. I mean, humans are photons in, controls out. Like the vast majority of information reaching our brain is from our eyes.
It's actually kind of creepy to think about the car that you're sitting in is learning as much as you at the same exact time as you, and eventually will be smarter than you.
You know that whole human zoo theory? You know that Earth is actually a zoo for other alien species and they just watch us reality show style? In that theory, are people around us actually our zookeepers? You know, like Truman Show style. Everyone around you, even the people you know in your life right now, are actually your zookeepers in the human zoo. You know, they're aliens in a skin suit, or aliens that look like humans, just not humans. And then when the guests start to get bored, that's when they change the whole script. You know, everything will be calm in the world for a little bit, and then everything just goes to shit. We're in one of those shit times right now. Because zoos don't just watch animals, they design the whole environment. They decide how much space you get, what you eat, how you interact, what stresses you out, what keeps you calm. You know, what gets you worked up. They got to put some of that in there too, because you got to have some hectic times. You ever notice how everything important to survival is locked behind systems? It's food, it's water, it's land, shelter, all things that exist naturally. But somehow you can only access them through layers of control. I guess that's a whole topic for another day. And if this really is an enclosure, we're not looking for the exit because we don't think to look for an exit. We're just performing like fucking zoo animals for visitors.
It's really crazy because the older you get, the more you realize a lot of people don't really care about you. They're just very nosy. So once you realize that, your interactions start to change. The way you talk to people starts to change. The things you share starts to change. Because they don't really care. They just want to be in your business and make sure you're not doing better than them.
You know what? There might have been some truth somewhere in there, but tap in and let me know if it was just me that caught that.
April 1st used to be New Year's Day until 1564 when France adopted the Gregorian calendar, which made January 1st New Year's Day. And people who refused to make this switch, or they didn't like the switch, were known as April Fools because they would still celebrate New Year's Day on April 1st. There's even a poem from 1561 about a nobleman who sends his servant on fool's errands on that day to make fun of them.
Into a system.
The government's spying on me. Is this a real pigeon? Look, it's got a tag on its foot. It's just chilling right there behind the pot, like it lives here. I wonder if it's one of those mechanical ones. Do you think it? Oh, it's got another tag on this foot. It's got to be the government. Look, he's discovered. Look, yeah, he's out. He's out. Yep. Am I supposed to get the tags off his feet? I think this is alien related. Look, it's got some kind of weird hieroglyphics on it. I don't think he's real. I mean, he looks real, but they got those mechanical ones, man, and that's definitely what this dude is. I'm not stupid. You can obviously tell. You gotta watch what I say from now on.
If I've learned anything from watching crime shows, it is that you should always commit crimes while wearing shoes that are a size and a half too small. This will accomplish two things. Number one, it will leave a shoe print that is not your size. And number two, if anyone sees you, they will be describing someone who walks with a limp.
I don't know. Is she dropping gems or teaching you how to be a felon?
Morbid Facts, Part 954. This is the sunburst appearance of osteosarcoma, the most common form of bone cancer. The pattern forms when the tumor grows so aggressively that it forces new bone to shoot outward in sharp radiating spikes. It's most often seen in teenagers and young adults, typically in long bones like the femur near the knee. As it advances, the cancer can hollow out and weaken the bone from the inside, leading to intense pain, swelling, and sometimes sudden fractures under normal pressure. Even with treatment, it can quickly spread to the lungs, making it a particularly fast-moving and devastating disease. In 1974 in Memphis, R&B singer Al Green was attacked by his girlfriend Mary Woodson after he refused to marry her. As he was getting ready for bed, she poured a pot of boiling grits all over him, leaving him with severe second-degree burns across his torso. He reportedly ran through the house screaming in pain before collapsing. Moments later, Woodson locked herself in another room and turned the gun on herself. Green survived but required extensive recovery, and the incident became one of the most disturbing and defining moments of his life.
Great line, the chemical imbalance. There's no evidence for it. There There is no way you can measure or document that such a thing occurs in the first place.
There are no lab tests to see what your neurotransmitter levels are or how much you need and how off your balance is.
Most people don't realize that when you cry, your body literally lowers stress hormones and activates calming chemicals like oxytocin and endorphins. That's why you often feel light after. Crying isn't losing control, that's absolute BS, we've been missold. It's just an intelligent built-in system to regulate you. So baby, never repress tears.
I have seen tons of videos on the internet regarding the paranormal, but these seem to be occurring more frequent. The trail cam records apparitions or an entity or a spirit or a ghost, alien, I don't know what it is, but it seems to appear and disappear. It seems to be transparent as well, translucent, but this one is a little peculiar, a little strange. It seems to have a chair with it and with, of course, glowing eyes, just like the other videos I've posted. The strange thing about this, again, it has a rocking chair, and it was recorded by a YouTube urban explorer in Canada. So it's not a paranormal channel or anything like that, but it records strange paranormal events. They are Voyager overload, by the way. And you can visit their website. I believe the videos are still up, but it's something unexplainable. What do you guys think that is? Is it a ghost? Is it an alien? Is it a hoax? I don't know. It's just strange.
What would happen if the Earth was hollow? Would you just feel lighter? Would everything float out into space? Would you get fried by the sun? So what happens is, the crust is only about 35 kilometers thick, thinner than the skin of an apple relative to its size, and it's made up of a bunch of tectonic plates. Without the mantle holding them up, the crust breaks apart and collapses into a sphere about 80% the size of the moon, and much less dense. But let's say there's a bunch of magical support structures holding up the crust. With nothing but the crust to pull you down, gravity is just 1% of what it is normally. And on top of that, no molten metal swirling around inside our planet means Earth's massive magnetic field is gone. So we're getting cooked by cosmic radiation and UV light, and now solar winds from our sun are blasting away our atmosphere and our breathable air. Yikes. So thank goodness for our solid Earth. But how did we figure out what's really inside the Earth? To find out more, follow along.
Okay, so I got a question for y'all, okay? I got a real quick question for y'all. Y'all see this face, right? Y'all see, my fault. Y'all see that face right there? What does that face look like? I'm about to show y'all what this face look like. Just pay attention to this. Does this not look like that woman from that Kanye West video? You know, that and her hands up and all that, right? Right? Now watch this, okay? Watch this. Do you know where this statue is located at? It's in Houston, Texas. Hold on. Is Travis Scott not from Houston, Texas? What, hold on. Hold on. Cause you know, this is called like a goddess, a Lakshmi, I believe. Why is this Hindu goddess who has the same face in the Kanye West video, right? In Houston, where Travis Scott is born. I really want y'all to really ponder on this, bro. I really want y'all to pay attention to this. This is insane to me. I love y'all. Take everything to the Most High. Shalom.
Hey, now he thought he was cooking. He really thought he was cooking, but I feel like it was kind of a reach.
News on Anthropic now. This just hitting a couple of moments ago with Bloomberg News reporting a small group of unauthorized users have accessed Anthropic's PBC's new Mythos AI model. A technology the company itself says is so powerful it can enable dangerous cyber attacks. That, according to a person familiar with the matter and documentation that has been viewed by Bloomberg News. This is obviously a company that has been very controversial with a very urgent development here this evening. And we'll remind everybody, the Pentagon already deemed Anthropic a supply chain risk. Is this why?
No, they were looking at it from a very different angle, Joe. What they were concerned about was that Anthropic was insisting working on safety guardrails. And it saw those guardrails from the company being dictated to the Pentagon as the locus of a potential risk. In other words, tying the government's hands when its technology needed to be used. And yet we have heard Emil Michael is one of the top Pentagon officials who's been negotiating with Anthropic over this, point to a previous breach that Anthropic disclosed a few weeks ago as the kind of thing that could also be a kind of supply chain risk. But this does raise questions about, A, who these people were, exactly who gained this access. Or the person familiar that Bloomberg spoke with insisted that they were not doing this to wreak havoc. They rather accessed it through conversations on the Discord server about how to figure out a way to get into Anthropic's networks. They were trying to use paths that they previously identified for finding untested models and ways to get a look at a new technology ahead of its rollout.
Scientists just implanted a wireless recording device smaller than a grain of sand inside a living mouse and kept it there for a full year. Traditional wired electrodes tear through brain matter with every movement, stopping researchers from recording brain activity for more than a few days. So researchers from Cornell and Nanyang Technological University set out to radically miniaturize the brain implant and produced this. The microscale optoelectronic tetherless electrode, or MOTE, just 300 microns long and 70 microns wide, thinner than a human hair. It is powered by an external LED that shines infrared light through the skull and brain tissues onto a tiny photovoltaic transceiver, embedded into the implant, which then turns light into electrical energy, like a tiny solar panel. On board, microscale electrodes sit in contact with neurons and pick up their electrical activity, before a series of 186 transistors amplify and convert the signals into optical pulses that are emitted through the same transceiver and detected outside the skull. The whole thing is sealed in an atomically thin layer of deposited oxides less than 1.5 micron thick to survive the corrosive environment of living tissue. And in initial studies, the device was implanted in the cortex of mice and successfully detected neural signals in response to whisker stimulation. The devices were left in place for over 365 days, and when they were finally removed, they found that the surrounding tissue remained largely healthy, with less microglial scarring than the standard optical fiber implants. These MOTE devices are just the start. One day chips like this could let us monitor and interact with neurons continuously, opening the door to thought-controlled devices, and maybe one day allowing us to live out our wildest severance dreams. If you like science with a mote of possibility, follow for more.
Am I 100% human? No. I'm the shapeshifter.
Sway Lee openly admits the truth in plain sight. He says that he is a shapeshifter. You heard it for yourselves, and even pay attention to the tattoos that he has. I mean, look, he has even Saturn, if you know, you know, and I mean, he even has the bath. I mean, you see it for yourselves. So again, I'm not saying that he is what he is claiming he is. I'm just asking the question. That's all that I'm doing, because again, you heard it for yourselves. You heard what he said. And he sure does love to flash this hand sign a lot too. I mean, come on. It is all truth in plain sight with these people. Now again, I'm not saying he is this. I'm just asking the questions. What do you all think about this right here? And again, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Again, you heard it for yourselves. You heard what he said. You heard what he said he is. Now, again, you can come to your own conclusion. I'm just asking the questions. What do you all think about this?
People can speculate what they want, but when you get something like that tattooed on you, it's not much room for speculation. We kind of see exactly what's going on.
You never want to say, I will have or I'm going to have, because if you do that, it keeps it in the future. If you say, I have a wonderful new apartment and you're living in a dump, it doesn't mean that this is not a true statement. It means you are planting the seed that will germinate and grow and become the new apartment. If you think for a moment, when you put a seed in the ground, you do not get instant tomato plant or instant strawberries or instant oak tree. That seed goes in the ground and it has to germinate. It breaks open its little shell and little roots begin to go down. And it gets nourishment from the earth. And only then does the first little shoot come up through the ground. Now, when we're doing affirmations, too often people say, well, that isn't $1 million, and they stomp on that first little shoot. Doing affirmations is like planting a seed in the ground, And watering it is like repeating your affirmations. And you just keep doing them, and you keep doing them, and you keep doing them. Everything happens in the perfect time-space sequence, and we want to trust that, and we want to know that.
Scary facts you didn't know, part 11. The limousine John F. Kennedy was riding in during the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963 wasn't destroyed or retired. The Lincoln Continental SS-100X was repaired, reinforced with heavy armor, and continued carrying U.S. presidents for years after the shooting. Today, the same car is preserved and on display at the Henry Ford Museum of American Innovation in Dearborn, the very vehicle where one of the most famous assassinations in history took place. As a child, Stephen King reportedly saw one of his friends struck and killed by a train while they were playing near the tracks. King later returned home in shock and barely spoke about what happened, but many people believe the trauma helped shape the dark and disturbing themes that would later appear in his horror stories. While preparing to play the Joker in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for nearly a month, isolating himself while writing a diary in character and practicing the Joker's disturbing laugh and voice. Months later, in 2008, he was found dead at just 28 from an accidental overdose of prescription medications, leaving many to wonder how deeply the role had gotten inside his mind.
That experience cannot be improvised. Look at how this man fully trusts his skills and jumps into this canyon. And look at how he levitates. Gravity and the air lift him instantly upwards. Look at this, look at this. That is absolute confidence.
Did he just...
Look at this guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's fine. Don't worry about it. As for the guy, though, I have no idea. Let me tell you something. That was a bison, also known as the American buffalo. These menaces are the largest animal in America, getting up to 6 feet tall and 2,200 pounds. Not something you want to have beef with. Pun intended. Especially when you find out that they can also run 40 miles an hour and jump 6 feet vertically. I didn't know 1 ton could do that. That's impressive. And terrifying. Then again, what do you expect from the only animal in the world that's known to run headfirst into storms? Or square up with full-grown grizzly bears? Fear? Never heard of her. But obviously, the scariest thing about them is their anger issues that no amount of therapy could fix. As you saw in the opening clip, they're known to attack humans simply for breathing in their space. I don't think they like humans. Moral of the story, if you ever take a video like this to get a viral clip, you'll become famous, all right. You're gonna wind up on the news. And as always, follow for more facts.
What is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
Don't believe everything you think.
At 49 years old, I tried everything they said in them books. I don't believe you can put God in a book. I don't believe you can put the real truth about God in the book.
Okay.
Because they ain't gave us the whole book. Before the books, you had to go inside a cave in Africa, in other places, and see them people carved in the wall. Jesus didn't have a book. Why we need a book? Jesus came to deliver the spirit. That's why he was sent here. So men can be able to access the spirit. He didn't say a book. He said, if you sit on this rock and 2 of y'all talk about God, y'all at church. That's why that boy say, why he create, but daddy, why he getting the money? And I need something for school, and y'all saying, no, but you put it in church. Fool.
This woman on TikTok did a AI filter where it expands your photo. She uploaded a photo of her cat and dog on her couch. The AI expanded it, and it put a random woman on her couch. Now, she thought that was pretty weird, but she kind of chuckled at it until she started looking closer at the woman, when she realized that this looks a lot like her deceased mother. Here's a photo of her deceased mother for reference. AI kind of creeps me out because I have seen a lot of videos where people will take photos and AI will add something into it. And I've wondered if AI was able to pick up on ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. And with this particular occurrence, I think that it might. I mean, that looks a lot like her mom, y'all. The AI generated photo has the same face shape as her mom. It has wavy hair like her mom, even the same hair color. Now, I did see some theories that maybe the AI was able to go into her photos and it just so happened to add a photo of her deceased mother into its program. But I don't know, because I've seen other instances of stuff like this too. What do you guys think?
Now, let's just say the AI did go through her photos and just so happened to pick out that one individual woman. That's still creepy.
Animals don't look dangerous. That's exactly why they're so lethal. Number 5, slow loris. It has giant eyes, tiny hands. It looks like a stuffed animal. It's also the only venomous primate on Earth. It licks a gland on its arm, mixes the toxin with its saliva, and bites. The venom causes tissue death. There's no antidote. Number 4, platypus. No teeth, no claws. Looks like nature's rough draft. But the male has venomous spurs on its hind legs that deliver pain so intense, morphine doesn't touch it. Victims have described it as worse than a gunshot for months. Number 3, cone snail. It moves at walking pace. Looks like a pretty shell on the beach, but it fires a harpoon-tipped tooth that injects 100 different toxins simultaneously. No antivenom exists. Divers have picked these up and been dead within the hour. Number 2, hippopotamus. Everyone knows hippos are dangerous. What they don't know, hippos kill more humans in Africa than lions, leopards, and crocodiles combined every year. Number 1, deer. Not a predator, not venomous, just a deer. And yet in the US alone, deer cause over 200 human deaths annually, mostly through vehicle collisions. The deadliest large animal in North America isn't a bear or a wolf, it's Bambi.
Check this picture out. Here's a picture of a family from the Great Depression. Does that look like a cornucopia to you? 1938. Now look on the wall. They're using newspaper for installation. It was hard back then, but look on the wall. There you can see that it is a Fruit of the Loom ad. Now, this is where I need your help. Now, if you go in closely, is that a cornucopia? Like I said, this is from 1938. There's not doctor. You can Google lens this. This is a real picture from the Great Depression. And there is an ad for Fruit of the Looms. And if you zoom in, I'm not going to say definitively that that is a cornucopia, but here are the logos. Here's what all the logos look like, ever. Does that look like a cornucopia or not? I can't tell. It looks... obviously this is before the change. Obviously this is before anybody even noticed. Me know. Or am I tripping? Am I tripping? To me, it looks like it's there, but let me know.
Did you know that trees can literally change your brain in the best way possible? When you step into a forest, your body actually recognizes it as home. Your vision relaxes, your breath deepens, and your stress hormone, cortisol, drops fast. Why is that? It's because humans evolved around leaves, soil, and birdsong, not concrete, overhead lights, and notifications. In animist traditions, the forest is in the background. It's a community of living things. It's a network of beings who notice you, and they notice when you arrive. Science calls it forest bathing, and it boosts mood, sleep, immune function. And, spiritual traditions tend to call it something older. They call it reunion. So walk slowly. Feel the ground hold you up. Let your eyes soften on the green in the world around you. Some people say the trees are speaking when the wind moves. Try to listen in.
The first transatlantic internet cable is being pulled from the ocean floor right now, and almost no one knows it's happening. TAT-8 went live in 1988, the first fiber optic cable to connect Europe and the United States. Isaac Asimov called its launch the maiden voyage across the sea on a beam of light. Engineers genuinely believed it might be the last transatlantic cable the world would ever need. Fiber optic technology was so far ahead of copper, they thought they had solved the problem of global bandwidth for good. But the internet grew faster than anyone anticipated, filling to capacity within 18 months. This forced the industry to immediately start laying more cables. It was the first sign that demand would keep outpacing infrastructure, a race that hasn't stopped to date. After developing a fault too expensive to fix, the cable was retired in 2002. It has sat dormant on the seabed since then. Now, a small crew aboard this ship is dragging it back up. Meanwhile, Meta announced Project Waterworth last year, a new 50,000-kilometer cable that will stretch across 5 continents, partly to feed the data demands of AI. What's crazy is that the entire global internet runs on cables like this, built and maintained by a few thousand people working in places most of us will never see. To stay in the loop with the latest in AI and robotics, you'll want to subscribe for more relevant insights.
That they love because they're used to them. When somebody get used to you, did you notice that the more you talk to a person, the more they dislike you, right? The more you talk to a person, the more they dislike you. The more you do things with people, the more people don't want to be around you. right? So if you was around a person for a long period of time, then you're gonna get tested by that person. They're gonna feel like they have a right to test you because they didn't saw everything. They didn't saw your flaws, they didn't saw your weaknesses. So they're gonna spin that on you. That's why it ain't good to let people get too close.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm on.
So would you what's the difference between love?
Now, I bet what you think you see is a bunch of dots on the screen that are getting larger and smaller. If you're talking about the dots on the outside ring, you'd be right. But believe it or not, and I bet you're gonna pick not, that middle circle is not changing size at all. The other dots changing size are creating the illusion that that middle dot is getting larger and smaller, but it is staying the exact same size. If I add this rectangle to the screen that's the same width as the middle circle, you can see as the other circles get larger and smaller, that one stays exactly the same size as the rectangle.
Now, without him putting that rectangle in the middle, I could have swore everything was moving and changing size. If you missed it, definitely rewind that one back.
So is this why the Great Wall of China was built? Check out this 1640 map. Look at these crazy drawings. These are all right next to, look at this, the Great Wall of China. This is a Tartar China map, an Asia map, and look at these crazy drawings. Comment, let me know what you think these are, what they look like. And look at that. It's crazy looking. Just all the different ones. Here's a translation too. I didn't get a chance to translate it. I've done it before, but it just talks about mystical creatures, and they're led by this one crazy looking creature with a spoke and fork or whatever. Diabolical, as they say. Interesting, right? Right next to the wall, which has always said to keep the Tartars out, but as we've always seen the wall, it just doesn't make sense. So comment, let me know what you think. We also got Gog and Magog in here, so just so you can see Mongol. Just so you know, Mongol is Magog. And then also here's Ung, which is also known as Gog. And then you can see some of the dates here. This is J290. And this talks about Paul and the Christians. And that's in 290, not 1290. Tell me all you want to tell me about the dates, but see that there? Here are what ones look like. See, 175, 170, 165. So thought that was really interesting. Here's the whole map so you can see it. And there, Tartaria. And interesting, it talks about the names here. Just very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, so that one is what I've been talking with people that I know about. So that's just interesting. Comment if you know what I mean. Anyways, just wanted to share this map with you. Thought it was super cool, especially showing the different creatures and everything. There's another date right there for you. And just thought it was neat. Just a neat map during the times, and a lot of stuff on the Tartaria area and the people and these people and their realm and who runs it. Comment, let me know your thoughts. As always, stay curious. Thank you so much for watching and listening and being part of this and following. Until next time.
Give you an opportunity to respond directly to the allegations in the Atlantic article that your unexplained absences created a national security risk. And beyond that, can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me. What that means is I've taken a third less vacation than those before me. What that means is that this FBI with this Department of Justice has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI with this Department of Justice has captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, twice as many as the Biden administration did in its entire 4 years. What that means is this FBI has seized enough fentanyl off the streets to kill 178 million Americans, a 31% increase. What that means is this FBI and this DOJ has arrested 43% more spies in 14 months than the entirety of the Biden administration. What that means is this FBI has seen a reduction in opiate overdose deaths up to 20% alone. What that means is that we have found 6,300 child victims, 6,300 families have their kids back. That is a 22% increase from the Biden administration. I'm on the job. I'm the first one in. I'm the last one out. I'm like an everyday American who loves his country, loves the sport of hockey, and champions my friends when they raise a gold medal and invite me in to celebrate. I've never been intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on. I'll see you in court.
So I'm guessing what that means is he's ready for the smoke for anybody who has something to say about it. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching and learning with me. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and run up 5,000 likes. Hit that hype button if you haven't, and subscribe and join the most active community on YouTube, and that's a fact. I will definitely catch you on the next one.